we're gonna get started. We are talking about travel today. And I know one of the things that most people who are new to the vegan lifestyle or are starting their transition, this is a big concern because traveling is tough as it is, right? To stay healthy and to stick to your routine. But then add the vegan thing in, especially if that's new for you, and it ups the ante a little bit. So yay, Stephanie's on. Hi, Cheeseball. Yes, Stephanie's our head mindset coach in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program. I'm so glad you joined us, Stephanie, because I'm all alone today talking about travel, and that was inspired by the trip I'm taking. I leave tomorrow night for the Amalfi Coast in Italy. It's a Food Heals Nation Italy vegan trip. So this is their second year doing it. Allison Melody is the person who does the Food Heals Nation podcast, which if you haven't heard that podcast, it's phenomenal. And it turned out she had invited me to be on her podcast years ago. And we come to find out, we both grew up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. She happened to go to the other high school halfway through. We got a new high school on the other side of town. She went to the other high school, but we were in high school at the same time in Chapel Hill. And then we both went to UNC Wilmington on the coast. So it was, one of those small world examples. It was just so cool to figure that out right there on the podcast. And then we've kind of remained friends. I've been a guest several times. I got to be a guest live when I was out in LA last year. So yeah, so I'm really excited. It's a group of women, vegan women. A lot of them are entrepreneurs. A lot of them are, making their way career-wise in one vegan industry or another. So it's going to be a great place to collaborate, to come together, to bond. So I'm really excited. I only know Allison and I think one other person maybe. So it'll be kind of an adventure, totally an adventure. I don't even know quite what we're doing, but I do know that Leslie Durso is the vegan chef that is going to be joining us and showing us all about making Italian food vegan style. So that is exciting. I will not be off the map, but we probably will not have a Facebook Live next week. Just FYI. So let's get into this. I'm gonna I'm giving you 3 really useful tips today for traveling. And, traveling as a vegan has become dramatically easier than it used to be. I know, I've been vegan for 24 years. So up until, I'm talking just a year or two ago, I mean, you could just pretty much forget anything vegan and healthy in the airport or on the airplane. So for long trips especially, it took some preparation. And it was so funny because my boyfriend Christian, he was at the airport a few months ago and he sent me a picture and they had Daiya cream cheese available. So he got a bagel and cream cheese, vegan cream cheese at the airport. And that's just cool. And now with the Impossible Burger and the Beyond Burger being in so many mainstream restaurants, it's just getting easier and easier to find options out there. So even at the airport. So that's very, very exciting, number one. Number two, well, let me go to our first tip, is what I recommend is preparing yourself hearty, healthy food to take with you on the travel part, if you're taking an airplane, especially if it's a long trip. I think we often think about taking snacks, right? What am I going to snack on? So we'll get trail mix or, some chips or, things that we want to just snack on. We're thinking we need snacks. However, what I've found is that when I pack a hearty meal, like for me, my go-to is chickpeas. I'm a chickpea-aholic. Anybody else a chickpea-aholic? Like literally a chickpea-aholic. So I just make a salad with chickpeas and some like microgreen sprouts and grape tomatoes and sometimes hearts of palms or olives with avocado, a little olive oil, and herb Mer seasoning. And I've got this, and it's heavy. So I eat before I go, and then then when I'm ready to eat again, I eat that, and then I am satisfied for hours. So instead of packing in all these snacks that you kind of snack on, even bars for me, I don't know about you guys, but bars don't do it for me. They're very, dense. They're very nutrient dense if you get the raw food bars. But, I eat them, and it takes just a few minutes to eat them, even if you're eating slowly and mindfully, as I do. But then I'm not satisfied. Does that happen to you, Stephanie? Stephanie said chickpeas are life. Yes, I think so. I put them on everything. I eat them for breakfast. You roast them. They're just fantastic, and they're packed with protein and fiber, complex carbohydrates. They're phenomenal food. If they're not a regular part of your routine, if you like them, just make them a regular part, because they're a great go-to. Anyway, so bars are great to have with you for emergencies, but my recommendation is starting to figure out some actually meal type hearty foods that are easy to make, easy to travel with. The cool thing about plant-based meals is they usually are okay being out of the refrigerator for a pretty extensive period of time. They're not going to go bad. So that's my first recommendation. Prepare some healthy, hearty food to take with you on the planes. If you want to throw in some snacks too, sure. But you know what happens also, with the trail mix, which is so calorie dense, right? It's nutrient dense, but it's also calorie dense, and it's very easy to overeat trail mix. And so if you're bored and you're hungry, that combination, it's like when I used to do that, I would just keep eating them until I just didn't feel all that great, because yeah, it's just dense. It's just very dense. So that's my number one. Number two is to do your research in advance and prepare accordingly. So there's so many awesome apps out there now that help you navigate with your food options in cities all over the world. Happy Cow is probably, I think it's the oldest, it's been around the longest. It's very comprehensive. I used it when I was in Europe for 3 months last summer. I used it quite a bit. There are other ones. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to type them in the chat box. But doing your research, Happy Cow's one place. Also just social media. I mean, we have access to so many people and even locals, which is to me where to get the advice from, people that actually live there. And with social media now, we can connect with those people. When I went to Europe last year, I joined a Facebook group that was, I think it was called the London Vegans. So I got to, say I'm coming into town for a week, and what do you guys do? I even met up with some of them while I was there, but they gave me, the locals' take on where those hotspots are for vegan friendly restaurants and markets. So they have the inside scoop. So I did that in Berlin. I did that when I went to Amsterdam 2 years ago. Instagram, Pinterest, like these are all these social media spots are great to connect with people all over the world into whatever city you're going to. So I would definitely do that in advance. So the other thing is, when you know where you're staying, or when you're planning where you're staying, to look for a market close by, because it doesn't have to be a vegan market. If you have just a market with fruits and vegetables, even if you don't have a refrigerator at your hotel room, I'll go grab, a thing of natural peanut butter and apples or carrots. Apples are great because they stay, you don't need a refrigerator, they stay good, but that's just a great, to have in your room for emergencies, especially if you're not able to bring home too many leftovers because you don't have a place to store them. Yeah, so that's my second suggestion. Stephanie said, bars aren't for me either. I find them disappointing in so many ways, and they don't satisfy me. A pack of peanut or almond butter and an apple is my go-to rather than a bar. So funny you just said that, because that's what I just said. Yes, no, that's just how it is for me. I'm interested to hear about other people. I know Chad's watching. Chad, what do you think about bars as snack versus peanut butter and almond? I have a little PTSD from, this was like years ago. I was traveling internationally, and I had carefully packed, you know, some really good foods and vegetables and hummus, and a big thing of hummus. So that I was planning on eating that hummus with veggies and some crackers, and they counted it as a gel, which you can only have, what is it, 3 ounces or something, because I only had a carry-on bag, and they took it away from me. And I'm about to get on a flight for, you know, it was, I don't know, 10 hours or something. And I literally, and this was so many years ago that I knew they were not going to have anything on the plane for me to eat. I literally almost cried. I was so disappointed. So now I am very wary of bringing things like hummus or, you know, a whole jar of peanut butter. I don't think they'll go for that at the TSA. Have you tried, Stephanie? I know they have the individual packs, and many other people in our program are traveling a lot this summer. You guys are probably, most people are traveling at least a little bit over the summer, and they were using those individual packets to bring, which is, you know, that would be totally cool. Yeah, okay. So that's 1 and 2. Number 3 is about mindset, because you guys know that I am all about mindset. That makes a difference in every situation we're in. And I'm so glad Stephanie's here, because my 3rd tip is to adopt an adventure mindset. Adopt it's hard to say, an adventure mindset when you're going. So yes, I'm all about the empowerment, getting to a place where you're able to feel confident about making conscious, intentional, and mindful choices. All choices, but yes, choices about the food that you put in your body. And so when traveling, I'm going to encourage you to leave a lot of expectations at home and think of the trip more as an adventure, including making it fun to find the best vegan food in the cities that you're visiting. Without expectations, you eliminate disappointment. Stephanie said, choose adventure. Yes, so also in the program, we do a lot of mantras, a lot of affirmations, and myself and Stephanie, we always every year have one specific phrase or word that's kind of our theme for the year. And mine this year is freedom, just the word freedom. Last year it was abundance. The year before that, I think it was play life like a game. That could have been a couple years before that. But Stephanie's this year is choose adventure. So that's why I was so excited that she's here, so I could talk about this. So yes, so doing your research ahead of time, extremely helpful. Definitely do it. You know, it doesn't have to take you hours on end. Spend an hour or 2, you know, and then leave your expectations at home. And then think about the hidden gems that are out there that, you know, don't make it to the sites or the apps like Happy Cow. Think about those gems that only the locals know. And that's why I said, you know, in your preparation to reach out. But then once you get there, if you're in that adventure mindset, and you can start out at one of the places that you found, maybe on Happy Cow or through social media, and then you ask them, and then you kind of snowball and you ask the locals and be there, and so that you don't end up sticking to the most popular, the most touristy spots, and instead get to have a little fun and get really try to find the spots that only the locals know about. I don't know about you, but I think that makes a trip for me is getting out of the tourist zones and digging in deep and really experiencing the culture and the city or wherever you're going as the locals do, because that's how you get a really good feel. So I've found myself, you know, in the past, you could just do hours and hours and hours of research, right? And never find the right spot. And then, you know, maybe the app's not caught up, and then you go to that spot and it's closed down or whatever. You know, it's just, if you can choose adventure and go on this trip and make it fun. I posted on my Instagram not long ago and it got so many likes. It was a meme about, you know, how when people become vegan, that traveling becomes about finding the best vegan restaurants. And it's fun, you know, if you can think about it as fun as opposed to thinking about it as a hassle or an inconvenience or frustrating, then you can have fun with it, you know. So that's how I like to travel. That's how I like to think about life and moving through each day as well. So it really translates to all aspects of our lives, at least the choosing adventure component does. So that is this is gonna be a shorter live today. I'm gonna make it compact and give you those 3 really useful tips. I'd love for you guys to comment about where you're going this summer, any tips that you have that you found helpful, especially to help out those who are new to the vegan lifestyle. Everybody's different and you got to find what works for you. And that's what we do in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program as well. The process is a very strategically designed, structured process. But what we do is really help you figure out how to live your best life. And we take you through the process for doing that. Most of our clients are challenged in similar ways. They have most of them have an unhealthy relationship with food and a poor body image and are really struggling, oftentimes yo-yo dieting, even those who are already vegan. And we have both people that are brand new to making, you know, at the very beginning of their journey to a vegan lifestyle, and we've got people who've been vegan for decades, but haven't found the right way of eating and haven't gotten to a place where they're able to eat out of love for themselves. Because here's the deal, you know, weight loss happens as a side effect of a healthy relationship with ourselves, which then in turn can allow us to have a healthy relationship with food and our bodies. So we have to focus on that internal space, because nothing on the outside of us, nothing in our environment, nothing that changes out there will change in here. But changing in here will end up impacting everything in our environment. We get to basically write our own stories for our lives. We use the law of attraction. We talk about that stuff where we're putting out the energies that's going to get us back everything that we want in life and more. Most of us are searching for not a size 1, you know, pants. We're not searching for a size. We're searching to feel good about ourselves. We're searching for true happiness and joy. And we can only have that when we start to love and respect and accept ourselves unconditionally. That's when the permanent weight loss occurs. That's when, if you need to release, and we like to talk about it as releasing extra body fat, and that's the side effect of the work that we do. And most people who come into this process have been for years and years doing it the other way, right? Focusing on the food, focusing on how many pounds they can lose, focusing on losing those inches. The focus has been outside themselves, right? Which, you know, if you're not digging deep, that would make sense. And if you have a completely healthy relationship with food and yourself, and your emotional health is fantastic, and you never get that urge to binge, and you know, you're doing fine, well, fantastic. I am very, very happy for you. We are all very happy for you. You do not need my program. But for those of you who are struggling and want something more for your life, by the end of this process, we're not only, you know, eating differently and feeling differently, but we're also starting to live differently and have new goals and new direction and new paths for our lives moving forward, because we start to really find purpose. We find a life of meaning. When we stop spending our energy on hating our bodies, when we stop spending our energy counting calories and following diet plans and doing all these things that are not truly fulfilling, right, from the inside, once you start getting fulfilled on the inside, that's when things start happening. And if you just listen to the testimonial videos that we have, they're in the pinned post if you're watching this in our Facebook Empowered Vegan Life group. go watch those, because you'll hear it and you feel it from the clients that have gone through this process. It's quite amazing, and it's so rewarding for me. I mean, there are no words to describe how thrilled I am to be in this place. And being in this place and creating this program was a product of me getting good with myself. And so if this is something that is resonating with you, you have a couple options. Number one, there's the free masterclass I'm offering right now. That link is also in the pin post. And if you've already kind of gotten some trainings watched and you feel good about that and you really are ready to take the next step, then you can choose to book a breakthrough session with me. And on that breakthrough session, I'm doing these myself right now, because I handpick everybody who comes into our very tight-knit family. We call it our plant-empowered family. But if this resonates with you, book a breakthrough session with me, and we explore where you're at, what your needs are, where you want to get to. And only if I'm confident, 1000% confident, that our program is the right fit and that we can help you, only then will we even talk about the program. Then I can tell you more details about it, and we can go into that. If it's not right, I'm not going to even suggest the program. So we are looking for very specific clients. We have an incredible group of women who are just growing and supporting one another every single day. And we just want to add to that group, but we do keep it small, so we do have limited spaces available. I will put the link to book that call. I'll also put the link to the masterclass. And if you have any questions for me, you are welcome to post them in the Empowered Vegan Life group. You're welcome to Facebook message me. I sometimes have trouble seeing messages from people that are not friends with me on Facebook, because they put it at the very top and I sometimes forget. So if I don't write you back, tag me in a post and say, hey, check your messages, because I haven't heard back from you, because I make myself as accessible as I possibly can for you guys. All right, that is going to wrap us up for today. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful summer. Hey, babe. Christian just joined. Yes, have a wonderful summer. Post some comments about where you're going and what you're going to do to make it an empowered vegan adventure on your trip. All right, you guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the group. Bye.